Hey guys. So, as I promised before, or maybe not promised, but I did say that I was going to continue with a series about parasites and whatnot. Well, this is a part of that. Now, I know some of y'all don't really care to hear about this type of stuff. Everything is not going to be peaches and cream and rainbows. Okay? All right. And unfortunately, lately I have been dealing with a few things like parasites, parasitic entities. But they don't have any control. Just keep this in mind. They have no control over you. They can't really do more than what you allow them to do. However, it's more than just go. Tell them to go. Get out of the way. It's more than just that. Okay, you have to make sure that you understand what's actually going on. Most of the time, we have these situations where we come into these bodies and we are under what we call some sort of a soul type contract. A lot of times we would essentially allow a certain group of entities, a different higher level souls, if you will, to essentially watch over you or facilitate your stay here in the earthly plane. Unfortunately, not all of those facilitators mean best. Okay. So just understand that. Some of us, sometimes you may even call it an oversoul. I'm not totally sold right now on the thought of an actual oversoul, although there may be some. Well, let me backtrack. There is a soul that is over you. Chances are that is facilitating. We would consider that an oversoul, but the oversoul, you may not necessarily come from like a splintered off of the oversoul itself, if that makes any sense. There were some theories that I've been coming across about the oversoul, like as if we kind of splintered off of the oversoul makes a different soul, like a part of takes a part of himself or herself or whatever their selves, and they send out these souls to learn different things and to, the experiences they would essentially be brought up to the oversoul. Well, I'm starting to understand that that may not necessarily be correct. Okay. And well, this is why. So let's go back to the crick in the neck. Okay. Remember that video. So I got up one morning and I had a little bit of a crick in my neck. Okay, great. The next day though, it got worse. Okay. So by the time that night came around, by the time the next morning came around, I could barely move. But I did notice I was being carried out of the body, and then I felt all of this love and like, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like, oh my God, so much love and joy and peace. I've never felt that. I've never felt that. Now there are people that have, but I've never felt it. But I understand that there are certain entities, the just call them a bureaucracy, if you will. They do have the ability to emanate of different frequencies. They literally can mimic the frequency of unconditional love, of sadness, depression, of happiness, even joy and peace and all of that type of stuff. These are higher level beings that can withstand energies. And to some degree, some of them were actual souls that were a part of this whole thing to begin with. But let me backtrack. So I have the crick in my neck. Can you imagine, just imagine this, you being carried out of the body lovingly and feeling a great sense of acceptance, a great sense of like everything is gonna be okay. Like, thanks, Dad. Thank you for carrying me. Now this is how I was feeling very just wanted. Um, and so and then they gently put me back in my body. Now imagine this though. The same entity or the same group of entities that were responsible for me being carried gently out of my body was the entity that was responsible for giving me the crick to begin with. Usually, cricks in the neck occur, especially if it's energetic. Now, I'm talking about people that didn't just sleep wrong. Okay, all right. You know what I mean? Let's just say you went to bed and all of a sudden you just have a crick in your neck, and you didn't do anything to for that to happen. That's what happened to me. Well, it is possible especially before you truly, truly understand yourself or understand what the real deal is. It is very possible for your energy to be used, okay, while you are unconscious. Okay. It is possible that they can do what's called an overlay of your own soul. Now, and then again, there's nothing to be afraid of and all of that kind of stuff. This is usually before a person really understands what the hell is going on, before you wake up and start asking the questions like I did. All right. During that time, all I knew was, I'm able to come out of the body, bitty bitty beep. I'm and going through this and that and exploring and all of that stuff. But while I was unconscious, apparently the body don't lie. Okay. If you go to bed at night and you're not in pain and then you wake up in pain the next morning, chances are it's very possible that they did some sort of a software overlay, an energetic overlay of your own soul, and kind of uses your soul, which is an energy being, for energy to do things outside of the body. Now, obviously, if you're already not really producing that much in the way of energy to begin with, there ain't much for them to use. So, but still, we are batteries, okay, essentially. Because we can create our own energy and we can absorb energy not only from the source itself, but we can absorb energy from Mother Earth, okay? So, stay with me here. So, apparently what had happened was some kind of way I was taken out of my body when I was unconscious. This is what I'm understanding has happened. They take me out, put me back in, boom, I get a crick in my neck. I'm not able to really move much the next night, and certainly not able to move the next night, like the next night. So mind you, their ability to use my source power, my me ultimately while I'm unconscious was damaged. So they get somebody to come down and it could very well have been an entity that really did care, but they were hired to care. You feel me? So that their massive payload, apparently I'm a very expensive piece of, I ain't going to call myself equipment, y'all, but I can't help the fact that I have this type of energy that is well sought after, apparently. And a lot of you probably have it too. Don't realize it yet. But I was able to produce these different light frequencies, but regardless. So it was their fault that I had the crick to begin with, and chances are that may have been a kink or something that happened when I was put back into my body. It could have been a number of things, but the point is I was taken out and used, and I didn't come back in the proper way. Hence a slight kink in the neck area, and which means chances are part of the silver cord and whatnot may have been kinked, something like that. Who knows? But again, I was used unconsciously. But the moment I woke up to understand what was really going on, and I had the ability to simply say, look, any contract that I may have had, because it's very well possible. I may have said outside of the body, well, before I came into this physical vessel to begin with, it's possible that I may have made some sort of deal that I didn't realize I was making. Of course, none of us remembers any of this stuff because when we come down here, all bets are off, essentially, because we don't even remember that there was a contract to be had. You feel me? So it would behoove anyone that thinks there may be some sort of a soul type of a contract, gain your sovereignty, because you have that ability, that right. The fact that we don't remember, well, in my opinion, it's a good thing, because once you find out, you can literally just simply scrub those fraudulent, or should I say, the contracts that are null and void, because you can't be in a contract with somebody that they don't know that they're in a contract with. You feel me? So all of that is null and void. Once you start to understand, once you start to remember who you are, then all of that BS, the ability for them to even use you like that, comes to an end. Okay? Now, if you notice, after that particular OBE, the Crick in the neck video, okay, I started to have these OBEs where I was either alone, okay, or I would be carried somewhere. Once my light started to get brighter and brighter, my confidence got a little bit brighter. I started to really understand who and what I really am. The fact that they called me that the multidimensional warlord, even that had this effect on me that allowed me to be even more just confident and like, yeah, you know. It's like I'm powerful, and you feel powerful. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't feel powerful now. I mean, it is what it is. You know, the gifts, talents, things like that. Now, and I'm gonna quote the Bible, even though I don't necessarily believe in all of that stuff. But the gifts are given without repentance. It is what it is. I got the downloads. I've gotten the ability to do certain things out of the body. It's innate now. It's done. So I have the gifts outside of the body. I can do certain things. But the main thing was that baseline frequency. I was becoming brighter and brighter. The brighter I became, the more dense my core became. The almost like, I don't even want to call it, maybe a neutron star. Have y'all ever heard of those before? Those they burn really hot in the center. They may be small, but they're just dense. Like a teaspoon is billions of tons, if that makes any sense. So anyways, I'm getting, more heavy. Hence, also, let me go back a little bit. Yes, got more dense, but the light that I exude is on. When I come out, I notice that when I look at my hands, it's like just shimmering white. Some people call it opalescent, almost, but I didn't see any of the fractal colors. You know how opals have that, those sparkly looking, almost iridescent, except like a milky iridescent color. I didn't see that, but I did see spark, like a shimmer of a silvery white, just looking at my hands when I'm out of the body. So in those times, I feel confident, I feel powerful, I feel good, I feel sovereign, I feel like I'm me. I'm in control of me. Well, little did I know, I was not necessarily in control of me, even though I was in control of my own light, yes. But I didn't realize there was another level of control that I needed to get before I could move forward. You feel me? Like, in other words, so they asses won't be carrying me just any damn where. You can literally say, hey, put me down. They will put you down, you know. But me, I'm thinking I'm in training under the auspices of I'm in training because I'm a warlord and I need to learn how to do this, that, and the third, even though wherever I went, I was just dropped off and literally just dropped off. Teachers don't teach like that. Like, you just figure it out. You know, and the more I think about it, I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. But hey, I'm not gonna beat myself up over. It is what it is. But the point is, when you are being taught something, there is a communication, there is a dialogue of some sort. There are entities out there that really do want to help, that really do want to help, teach you certain things about the astral plane and can take you different places and can kind of show you different things. But if you're just taken somewhere, they usually don't say very much. The entities that I have come across, and well, the only one that I really communicated with, I noticed, you remember Pam, Mama Pam, she wore all black. And I didn't quite understand it at the time. But then there are these others that I saw, which I'll probably end up talking about on another time. But if you could imagine coming to the understanding, thinking, oh my God, I have an oversoul that really cares for me, from the crick in the neck. Oh, my oversoul has sent somebody down here to kind of help me. I think, my oversoul and told me this and that. And I'm a warlord and multidimensional warlord. Just to find out that it was a ruse. It was just a facade for something just cruel. You feel me? All of that so that they could use the energy. My energy literally lit up dimensional spaces. I didn't have to really cast light at all. Now, I'm talking about the times when I was carried out, not the other time, that the one that I just talked about, when I came out on my own. I mean those others, but either regardless of where I went, it seems like my light energized the place, and they needed a battery, and therefore they used me for that. And I can recall myself thinking and saying that, I wouldn't have mind. I don't mind doing this and going this place and that place. Just communicate. Don't just have me just going these places and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. But the reason is because they didn't know either those guides. They were just told, take this person, this place, and that place. Then I was paralyzed. Come to find out, the reason I was paralyzed was so that I'm not able to move or exude my light, because apparently it affects the way that they would be able to carry me. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to brighten. I didn't know at the time, but that's why they started to paralyze me before grabbing me and taking me other places. I get it. But I was gonna, again, I'm a team player. I probably would have done it if I had known what the hell was going on. But I would imagine if it was the bureaucracy, if you will, then I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. In that case, knowing them, the fact that they didn't say anything, it's kind of like they're not teaching anything. All things will be revealed in due time is all that they can say, because they didn't know either. And if they didn't know, then they couldn't tell me nothing to help me out in my... all of the pieces have started to come together to understand, for me to understand what was really going on. So, saying all of this to say, once you become aware of yourself, your self-enlightenment, once that happens, you then take control of the wheel. They can't just take you unless you don't say, you know, you just let them keep doing it. They can't just take you places and do different things. You know, I'm not saying that the soul guides were parasites. That is not what I'm saying. The soul guides were soul guides. They were souls, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much that they knew as well. Parasites don't have the ability to carry other souls, especially those that have awakened to at least to some degree, whose baseline energy frequency is high enough to whether, because they would glitch out and whatnot. They're just, yeah. So they have to use souls to do it. It's a big thing on the other side. It's a lot of stuff that goes on. I'm just talking and specifically about my specific situation and what I've come to understand about how this works. Get rid of them damn soul, whatever soul contract you might think you might have. It's as simple as just breaking it, just simply saying, I am no longer a part of this soul contract, any soul contract of omission, commission, whatever. I'm not a part of that. Anything that I don't even know anything about, I'm not a part of that. Point blank. Once you know what's going on, you feel me? Just because you do have the sovereignty, you know, there are laws and whatnot that dictate and govern what goes on in the astral plane, in the different layers or whatnot. But ultimately, the goal is to be a sovereign individual. Okay, that is the goal. And hey, those people that want to work with the bureaucracy or whatever, do you? But they don't need to be using people when they're unconscious and shit. That, to me, that's what I experienced. And but yeah, there's a whole lot that that's going on, y'all. That and we're just, you know, we're here to live in it day by day. We're here to learn and to experience Earth in a certain way. But you are sovereign, and just know that you don't have to live under their rules like that. The harvesting and the of you know what I'm saying? I really do believe that particular theory it is correct, because, well, energy harvesting, that's kind of what I went through. There's more to it, but because this is going quite long, I'm going to end it here. Just know, you guys, you're sovereign. You are in control of your own self. You are your savior. And point blank, the moment you realize, you automatically, that baseline goes way up. That frequency goes way up. You feel me? All right. You are a powerful individual. Okay. You are very powerful. All right. And the one thing that you're going to want to do is to make sure that you are sovereign. You're over you, and nobody else is. Not the bureaucracy, not religion, no church, no person, no. Got it? Until next time.